Hello and welcome. This is episode 98 of On Review, and today I have the seventh and the final album of one of my favorite bands ever, and it is The Sound of Perseverance by Def. I have it, I just got it like a few days ago, the record, and yeah, Def. Maybe if you're not really familiar with death metal and the extreme metal scene, Def, the band is easily the most respected, the most not maybe not the most influential because they were really technical and really progressive. You got bands like Morbid Angel and Cannibal Corpse that maybe are more influential, more bigger than Def. But Def is, in my opinion, and for many people, Def is the definitive death metal band. And they pretty much created the genre together with Possessed, of course, with the Seven Churches. That record, and of course, the Scream Bloody Gore album from Def, the debut album. So, The Sound of Perseverance is one record that's, yeah, it is unfortunately their last album. I want to say best, but that is of course debatable. But The Sound of Perseverance is really the most popular, the most critical acclaim, the most talked about death record because it is really impressive how Chuck Schuldiner can create a he can create death metal with Scream Bloody Gore, can make better records with that, follow up albums, going technical death metal, and with the previous album going progressive metal. So yeah, Def and Chuck Schuldiner is really a mastermind if it comes to writing music. And yeah, this is definitely the closing chapter. It is a really great closing to a pretty perfect band. Well, just if you want to discuss the perfect discography with someone, then they're gonna mention Def if they really know what they're talking about because Def probably has the best discography ever. Not only in rock, not in pop, not only in rock and pop, just every genre combined. Def has the best discography ever. You can discuss that with me all day, every day. But for me, the Def discography is perfect, and not any band. Well, maybe one band, maybe two bands, but not any band has come as close to the Def discography as perfect as the Def discography. Then maybe some bands, but yeah, Def is really the definitive band that has the perfect discography, the perfect albums. And the last one is by many considered to be the greatest one. Although I think another album is my favorite, but maybe I'm gonna discuss that in the future. But this is definitely their most talked about record, The Sound of Perseverance. So I wanted to talk about it first, since I got it in house, I believe a few days ago. But yeah, Chuck Schuldiner also recruited some new members on this disc, which includes Shannon Hamm, who's the bassist, Scott Clendenin, the drummer, and or no. Shannon Hamm is the guitarist. Scott Clendenin is the bassist and the drummer is Richard Christie, and I really love Richard Christie. He also played on The Fragile Art of Existence, which is a Control the Night record, which came after this album, and that was of course the official final album from Chuck Schuldiner because he passed away of a brain tumor, unfortunately. Chuck Schuldiner is one of my favorite people in music. He is one of my biggest inspiration. Maybe I want to pick up a guitar or maybe a lead guitar like he did, and maybe write some of the best music out there like he did. Chuck Schuldiner is a mastermind, and The Sound of Perseverance is considered by many to be his crowning achievement. But I wouldn't say my absolute favorite, maybe second, or maybe it is my favorite. But I'm gonna re-listen to some Def again in the future, I think, to really decide that because it is really difficult, those two records that I'm deciding on. But to get into the track listing a bit, Scavenger of Human Sorrow is a really perfect way to start this record off. It is almost 7 minutes in length, and the vocals by Chuck Schuldiner are a bit toned down, I would say, but it works off so well because the less prominent vocals by Chuck Schuldiner. The reason he did this, I believe, yeah, of course not everyone can keep his growling voice. I cannot growl for shit though, but Chuck Schuldiner certainly can, and he is considered the best one of them all, of all the growlers. And Scavenger of Human Sorrow perfectly represents how the album is gonna sound like, with Chuck Schuldiner having still really heavy vocals, but being a bit tuned down, or a bit just a bit lower, to hear the other instruments. And I think the mixing on here, just everything how it sounds, is really perfected on the sound of Perseverance. And the first track, Scavenger of Human Sorrow, certainly proves that and is already a fan favorite by many people. Speaking of fan favorites, then we got the third track, which is Spirit Crusher, and this has of course one of the best bass openings that I've ever heard in just any music genres, in any music genre from Scott Clendenin. I think my personal favorite death bassist is, I believe, Steve Giorgio. His name is, I believe. I believe that is his name. I'm gonna look it up for a bit. Yeah, Steve DiGiorgio. That is my favorite. That is my favorite death bassist. Well, he wasn't on a lot of bass, I believe. I believe he was on individual thought patterns. Listen to, how's the song called again? Fuck. The Philosopher. Listen to the ending of the bass. It is so phenomenal. That the bass solo, man. It is really one of the best bass sounds I've ever heard. But it still is really, really great on Spirit Crusher. One of my absolute favorite one of my favorite bass openings in any genre of music. Spirit Crusher is just really heavy. It has just one pounding main riff from Chuck Schuldiner that goes through the entire song. It dominates. It tears you to shreds, and Spirit Crusher is just one hell of a fan favorite. Even more than Scavenger of Human Sorrow, I've played the song really over and over again. Yeah, to the point that I avoided it because I have listened to it so much that I want to skip it a bit. But still, this song is an absolute classic, and yeah, one of the definitive death songs ever that Death has ever put out on tape. Then we got another classic song, Story to Tell, the fourth one, which is a bit more. It is actually 13 seconds shorter, but this song just delivers, man. When Spirit Crusher is really heavy and really bass heavy, Story to Tell is a bit softer in tone. It has a bit more of those high notes, and it really stops, and it really is a consistent piece of music. It's really diverse. It has some moments where it completely stops, where you have just silence, and then it goes further, and you have a moment that it just goes on and off and on and off, and I really love that about the band. Well, maybe they are trolling a bit, or maybe that is part of the story to tell, that you maybe have some silent parts here and there. So I'm not really sure what they're going with this, but it sure as hell works on this track. It sure as hell creates the atmosphere with those silence parts that it may be a bit mysterious, but Def still wants to tell, especially Chuck Schuldiner, of course, the mastermind of the band. They really want to tell the story. They really wanted to tell it to you, the story to tell, and yeah, it is an absolute classic and one that I want to listen to again. And it's also a fan favorite, I believe. And speaking of more fan favorite songs, we have The Flesh and the Power Tools from the fifth track, and this is, I'm gonna say, this is my favorite song of this album and one of my favorite Death songs ever. Yeah, the opening riff is just amazing. That do 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 do. I mean, that opening riff is so memorable. When the song slows down, when Richard Christie gets his guitar guitar. When Richard Christie gets his drum solos, it is absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, then of course the breakdown when all the instruments are quiet again and Chuck Schuldiner is screaming to you, "I told you once, now I'll tell you again." Yeah, just when he says those words, those immortal lyrics, then you're immediately hooked from the song. I mean, the drums are just pounding. The main riff is absolutely phenomenal. Flesh and the Power it holds. It is an absolute masterpiece, just like Spirit Crushing's Story to Tell. And Scavenger of Human Sorrow and Bite the Pain are really damn good as well. Really solid songs. With the further songs being masterpieces in my opinion. Yeah, Flesh and the Power is also my one of my absolute favorite Death songs. If I would make a top 10 Death songs, that song would definitely be way up there. I love this track, and it is also the longest one of this album, which is 8.5 minutes. Listen to this track; it is amazing. I love it, and yeah, one hell of a masterpiece. And speaking of masterpieces, we got the most beautiful instrumental that I've ever heard in my life. It is actually at the moment my favorite instrumental. So we got the 6th track, which is Voice of the Soul, and this is so beautiful. I'm actually gonna play this at my funeral because many people. Well, I think I'm gonna play it at my funeral, but many people think when they think about Voice of the Soul, they think about they think about Chuck Schuldiner, of course, because it is so just so instrumental. It is so deep and thought provoking. It is so so different, so unique from everything else on this record. Everything. Everyone wants a Bite the Pain. Everyone wants a Scavenger of Human Sorrow. Everyone wants a Flesh in the Power it holds. Everyone wants those heavy songs, and suddenly you get a really soft-spoken song like Voice of the Soul, which is really a unique blend because this only has a acoustic guitar and an X guitar, which are the only two instruments used throughout the entire song, which is phenomenal. I've never heard it's. Those two instruments play together so tight and so well and so perfect and so emotional. Just every note on here so played emotional. Just the acoustic guitars just played consistent. It is played really mellow, really solid. And the X hits you with those few notes. It isn't shredderific or something like that. It is just a few notes, just a few high notes right here that hits you right in the heart, man. That is why Voice of the Soul is such a meaningful song to me, and means so much to me that I actually want to play it at my funeral. Yeah, it is actually a really personal song to me, and it is one of my favorite Death songs ever. It will be in the top 10 as well. I would say, despite its length, it is really short with 3 minutes and 43 seconds, but every time I hear Voice of the Soul, it is so emotional. It is so thought-provoking. It sounds so adventurous and it sounds like you're going on an adventure, and it sounds like the end of an adventure, if you can get me. So that is really a unique experience that I get with the Voice of the Soul. It is a really personal track to me, and I really love it because of that. One of the greatest instruments I've ever heard in my life. And yeah, it really is a masterpiece and one of my favorites of the album, together with Flesh and the Power it holds. I have a really hard time choosing which one is the more favorite. I think Flesh and the Power it holds is my favorite track, and Voice of the Soul is my favorite personal moment of this record. So if that makes sense to you, there you go. Yeah, and you get to Forgive Is to Suffer and The Moment of Clarity, which are two fine tracks. Really great. Really love them. I need to listen to these tracks more and more to really give you an opinion about them, like Bite the Pain and Scavenger of Human Sorrow. Tracks that I want to listen to more because I cannot give you a lot of insight about them. But one track that I have that I basically have smashed into my brain is Painkiller, and Painkiller is of course originally a Judas Priest song of the Painkiller record. And 8 years later we got a cover of Chuck Schuldiner who covered Painkiller, and people are actually, well, they are comparing, or they are discussing which is the better version. But of course you cannot beat the classics, you cannot beat the original, that is hella true. Although I prefer Def in Def is in my opinion the better band. Judas Priest has just, I'm not gonna say they're better, but you cannot beat the original. That is basically what I'm saying. But uh, don't get me wrong, I love Judas Priest, but Def is the band for me. And Chuck Schuldiner did a great take on an already classic song, and he sure as hell delivered. I mean, those drum interplays, the drum intro by Richard Christie is just perfect. I think he makes Al Atkins run for his money. I believe the drummer's name is that from Judas Priest. But he sure as hell makes him run for his money. And yeah, just when that guitar riff is just opening and the vocals by Chuck Schuldiner are kicking, I first thought it was sung by a girl, by a female artist, but I was really wrong. It was by Chuck Schuldiner. It was actually, I believe, the first song I ever listened to from Def. So that is a really special track for me. And yeah, you probably know how Painkiller sounds. I've reviewed it on the channel. So all I'm gonna say is here that it really does the original well. It is a really well done cover. One of the best covers I've actually heard ever. So just listen to Painkiller, the Def version, or maybe the original, maybe to both. They're both great songs. So they're the same song, but the cover is great and the original is a masterpiece. But I've reviewed this record already, so go check it out. Judas Priest is killer. They're Painkiller, and Def. Yeah, they are a classic band. I love Def. I sure as hell love Chuck Schuldiner, one of my favorite people ever in music, and Painkiller was really a perfect closer for this record, because he also got a brain tumor, of course, and well, taking the painkillers that may reduce the pain, but well, he didn't got the money for the brain tumor, of course, which was a shame, because we lost one of our favorite extreme metal people in music ever. So that is really a shame that people didn't get the money for his treatment. And Painkiller really represents how heavy everything for Chuck was, in how much pain he was. Well, at the time I believe he didn't had a tumor, but the song still represents how heavy Def can sound, and how heavy Chuck Schuldiner really is, and how complex and how really well he covers songs. When he does it, I believe Painkiller is to this day his only cover. But yeah, when he did it, he sure as hell delivered, and really a masterpiece. Yeah, the original is a masterpiece, and I think the cover's also a masterpiece. Really love the Def's take on Painkiller. It really deserves more attention in my opinion, and yeah, just check out Def, check out this record, The Sound of Perseverance. It is a great record. I really love it. Yeah, just like I said, it is really difficult for me to pinpoint the better album, because I think that that another album in their discography is also a 10. Did I say that? But spoiler alert. But yeah, definitely this record is so good. It is so amazing. It is one of the best extreme metal records I've ever listened to. I haven't listened to a lot of extreme metal. Well, to some Morbid Angel stuff like that, Suffocation, the obvious death metal bands. But but still, I want to listen to more. But this is definitely one of the best I've heard so far, and probably ever will be. We still have. I still have the CDs to show, so I'm gonna do that. This album review is already 20 minutes long, so that is really saying how much I enjoy this record. You probably know the rating already. I just said it, but we're still gonna do this. Yeah, this is the cover. This is the remastered cover. The original is also pretty great, but I think that this one is better, more just clearer in my opinion. It is more clear. It's more. Yeah, it just looks better. Then we got the backside, which of course the disc one, the original songs, and then we got disc two, which are demo tapes and the songs without bass, which is really strange because bass is essential. So I'm really not sure why that is a thing, but people do that. So there we are. Yeah, the same thing. This is the original CD. We got of course the protective case, which is really cool, I think. Yeah, and this one is basically the same, just like that. And well, then we got the inside. I'm actually gonna look. I didn't. I believe I haven't watched the inside yet, the case or the book. Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster. And when you look long into an abyss, the abyss also looks into you. Erich Wilhelm Nietzsche. Alright, I believe that Chuck Schuldiner was inspired by that, by that line. We got some song lyrics, I believe, from. No. This is explaining how the album was made. Shannon Ham, his autograph here. Great stuff. Then we got the original artwork and the remastered artwork of. Yeah, this is 1998 when the album came out, also my birth year. Go figure. And this is the remastered version, the 2011 take. I prefer the remastered one, but still both two great album covers. Then we got more. We got more pictures. Yeah, we actually got the entire band on screen, and we actually got here on the back. We got, I believe Shannon Ham together with Phil Anselmo, of course, from Pantera and Down and now Superjoint. Not the biggest fan of Pantera, but Phil Anselmo was there. He was there with Def. He was also, I believe, backstage when Def was playing at live at Eindhoven. Yeah, Phil Anselmo was actually there. If you look at the concert, if you look really well, he is backstage. Yeah, and here we get actual song lyrics. Yeah, this is one thing I really love about this. Just this book, that you get an entire book of lyrics with really fancy handwriting and really golden letters, which I really love. It looks really fancy, and that is one thing I really love about it. It just looks really gentlemanlike, really classy. We got more pictures of the band and lyrics from Bite the Pain. Then we got lyrics from Spirit Crusher, and then we got more pictures of the band here, and of course some recording photos. What is he wearing? Oh, Def is, or Chuck Schuldiner is wearing a King Diamond shirt, I believe. Cool. Def is, yeah, and then an introduction to the band. Def is, and then the names of the band, and then the picture, of course. Legendary Chuck Schuldiner. Shannon Ham, Richard Christie, this is Richard Christie, and how's the bass called again? The bass is called Scott Clendenin. great stuff. Now we got story to tell, more pictures of the band and more lyrics. Then we got the legendary Flash in the Power It Holds and more pictures of the band here and lyrics here. Yeah, and actually one picture I blurred with my finger right here. Then we got, well, you guessed it, more pictures. And here we got Voice of the Soul and To Forgive Is to Suffer, and Voice of the Soul is of course a instrumental, so it is not. I'm not sure why it is on here, but there we are, because it is an instrumental. And then we got the A Moment of Clarity, which is also the last song I believe of, which is credited with song lyrics, because Painkiller is not officially a death song, but there we are. Yeah, it is not credited, but there are no lyrics, so Chuck Schuldiner is basically saying to you, buy the original, buy Painkiller of course, to get the song lyrics there, because respect the artist, stuff like that. I'm pretty sure they cannot do that, have Painkiller lyrics on there, although it is not their song. I'm pretty sure that is the reason, but correct me if I'm wrong, we got some credits right there. You really don't care about that. But you can pause if you're really interested, or just, look it up. Chuck says thanks, Shannon says thanks, Scott says thanks, Richard says thanks, and Special Collective thanks. And we got a really special photo here that I've never seen before. A kid, I believe, that is shutting his ears down, because I'm just not sure. I'm not sure why he does that, but it looks really interesting, and maybe it has a meaning behind it. It really looks interesting, but most stories like this don't have an explanation, don't have anything to say. So I'm pretty sure Chuck just liked the photo and just roll with it. But well, you can't really ask him anymore because he has passed away, unfortunately. But still. Yeah, I've been talking about almost half an hour now. That is really saying how much I love this record. Yeah, The Sound of Perseverance, masterpiece, really love it. One of my favorite albums ever. It is a great record, and you should give it a chance. It is one of the best extreme metal records I've ever listened to, and well, if you have also, then I'm pretty sure you can agree with me. But I haven't listened to every extreme metal record yet. Well, I haven't listened to a lot of extreme metal, so I'm gonna do that in the future. And if this case wants to close, there we are, then I can do more. But for now, Sound of Perseverance is way up there as the best one. And yeah, probably will be that way for all eternity. My rating for this record, if it wasn't obvious already, it is perfect. Then I love Death. I love their final record, Sound of Perseverance. I basically love every Death record because their discography is pretty perfect. But if you don't agree with me, let me know in the comments what is your favorite Death record. Maybe it is the Fragile Art of Existence from Control the Night, which I actually need to listen to. I still haven't heard that record, but I have heard the entire Death discography, so let me know if you want me to do more Death records, because Death is one hell of a phenomenal group. So just let me know in the comments if you want me to do more Death. Let me know if you don't want me to do it. I'm still gonna do it because I love Death. But let me know in the comments, and yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this album review. Like, comment, subscribe, of course, to the channel. You also have more videos like this one. This album review is almost half an hour long, I believe. My longest one yet, and we're talking only about 9 songs, so that is really saying how much I love this record. Really loved it. Really perfect. Like I said, it is a perfect 10 for me. So yeah, listen to this record, The Sound of Perseverance. It is, I believe, my background. Well, it isn't anymore, but it once was my background, because I mean, just look at the album cover. It is so, yeah, it is one of the best album covers, period. It is so engaging, it is so mysterious, yet so beautiful, so elegant. So I hope you've enjoyed this album review. Let me know your rating about Sound of Perseverance. Do you think it is the best one? Do you think it is tremendously overrated? Do you think it's underrated? Let me know in the comments and we can discuss it. I've been talking for half an hour now about this record, and yeah, I'm gonna shut up now because I've been talking for quite a while, and you just need to listen to this record. That is all what I'm saying here. Listen to Death and listen to The Sound of Perseverance. You will not regret it. God bless, stay safe, take care, and have a nice day. And of course, rest in peace to Chuck Schuldiner. You were and still are the mastermind of extreme metal. Rest in peace to Chuck Schuldiner. One hell of a mastermind in extreme metal, and not even in extreme metal, but just a mastermind in music in any genre ever.